It's really hard to sweep a series, but it's even harder when your bullpen is doing this.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. Follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, I'm talking about the Rangers failing to sweep the New York Yankees, losing the season series, Jack Leiter's struggles, and the Rangers have a problem with Garcia. But let's start off with the starter, Jack Leiter. The Rangers lose this game 3-2. Not a horrible game by Jack Leiter by any means, but not the kind of game that he was hoping to have. And the second straight struggling start for Jack Leiter in just an absolutely crucial matchup. I mean, this is the second straight game where Jack Leiter has just not been able to go even through 5 innings. He might have been able to go 5 innings on his start 5 days ago, or I guess 6 days ago at this point in Seattle. And the Rangers didn't lose that game because of what Jack Leiter did. But this one, they also didn't lose just because of Jack Leiter. But it was just incredibly frustrating to watch him backtrack after making so much progress the last couple of games. I mean, against Houston, against the A's, against Atlanta, of him being able to work around a little bit of trouble. I mean, the walks have just absolutely murdered Jack Leiter in these last couple of starts. This one specifically, I mean, the last start, he walked in the one run that he gave up while he was actually on the mound with the bases loaded. And then in this one, the 2 walks accounted for the 2 runs that he let up. Only one of them was earned because of a terrible throw by Kyle Higashioka and a lack of controlling the running game yet again by another Texas Rangers pitcher. But this was just a straight up not good enough. Not good enough from Jack Leiter, who looked incredible for the first couple innings. I mean, getting a big strikeout, a called third strike on the best hitter in all of baseball, and then getting a lead and doing absolutely nothing with it. In fact, doing less than nothing with it. Walking the first guy after the Rangers got him the lead. He walked the first guy he saw on 4 pitches. 4 pitches, not really particularly competitive pitches by any means. And this is just another case of Jack Leiter, who has some of the best stuff on earth. I mean, truly, his raw stuff. I mean, the velocity on his fastball, the shape of it, pairing it with the sinker, pairing it with the curveball, the changeup that has made so many steps forward this year, as well as the slider, which is probably the nastier of his 2 breaking balls, depending on the day. But just, he gets so in his head that he tries to throw the most perfect pitch as opposed to just throwing a strike. I mean, there were so many just non-competitive pitches in this one that is just going to get you into trouble every single time, especially early on in counts. The first pitch where he's just trying to throw the perfect first pitch, get that just borderline touching the corner pitch, when really you could just blow your stuff by these guys, most guys in the major leagues, and kind of get away with it. Occasionally he might get hit for a homer or 2, but he has not been giving up hard contact. He has not been giving up a whole lot of hits because he has given away so many free bases, and those come back to haunt him in this one. It's just so frustrating to see a guy who I thought was making a whole lot of progress just continually take these steps back. I mean, he's doing a better job of mixing his pitches. He's doing a better job of, incorporating that sinker, keeping hitters honest so they can't just sit on that 4-seamer like they did in 2024 when he was, making his first couple of starts in the big leagues. The changeup has really, really helped. It's come along as a better pitch, but he doesn't always have the best feel for it. It's worked well for him, especially in his next to last start, the start against Atlanta. It looked really, really good for him in that one. It looked pretty good against the A's as well. Not quite as effective against the Mariners, but still, this was just straight up not good enough. Not good enough, giving the Rangers, innings and depth and length in a game that was crucial, because the Rangers got swept in the first time they played the New York Yankees in New York. They should not have gotten swept. They played, I think, overall better than the Yankees in that series, but they did. So in order to not lose the season series, the Rangers had to sweep the Yankees in this one, and they just weren't able to do it. And thankfully, because of the heroics of Nathan Eovaldi in the first game or in the second game of this series, the pen was basically completely rested. Pretty much everyone was available in this one. And I think that's a little bit why Bruce Bochy had more of an aggressive hook in this one and also in the last start for Jack Leiter, who maybe he could have worked himself out of a little bit of trouble in that game in Seattle. Maybe he could have worked himself out of trouble in this one. But when you keep on walking the world, 4 walks in 3 and a third innings, when you have more walks than innings pitched, you cannot be surprised when you are not given the chance to pitch out of your own mistakes. This is just, again, the same thing with Jack Leiter that he had been struggling with all year, all career, really, of just yanking these fastballs. At least his misses are different now. This is a little bit different. This is some progress from where he was last year or even earlier on, really at the end of last year. This year, the start of this year, he was absolutely fantastic, but there still have been times where Jack Leiter has really gotten in his own way. And if he can just get out of his own way, get out of his own head, this is a guy with such a high ceiling. I mean, the ability to add this velocity that he did this year, adding that changeup, adding the sinker, just adding all these pitches that complement each other better. He's pitching smarter. He's learning. He's getting better. But it's frustrating to watch these learning curves happen at the big league level in a pennant chase. It is very, very difficult to watch, and it's harder to let these guys, go through their struggles and learn from it and get better. I mean, thankfully, he's got some of the best teachers in at least modern history of Major League Baseball, of having Mike Maddox as his pitching coach, truly one of the best pitching coaches in the game, having, spent some time around Max Scherzer last year, spending a lot of time around Nathan Eovaldi, who is an incredible mentor, has helped so many pitchers get so much better. I mean, just learning from him. I mean, looking what Evo has done this year, I'm sure game planning and just anything wise, Eovaldi is letting Jack Leiter know what he thinks and helping him to grow as a pitcher. And not to mention having Jacob deGrom on your staff as well, who knows how to pitch with some of the best stuff in baseball. He knows how to do that. But Jacob deGrom has kind of always had that command. The stuff came as he got better and honed his craft a little bit more. Jack, the stuff has always been there, but the pitchability has not quite been there just yet. And it is just absolutely incredibly frustrating to watch this golden chance go by to sweep the Yankees, to take a postseason spot, to at least tie the season series. I can't remember exactly what the tiebreakers come down to if the Rangers had a 3-3 record against the Yankees this year and tied the season series. But because they lost this season series, they also lost the season series against the Mariners much more handily than they lost this one, I might add. The Rangers have to have a better record than the Yankees or the Seattle Mariners, the two teams just ahead of them in this playoff chase. Puts them in a much harder position than they were at the start of this series, or I guess at the start of Wednesday's game. But still, just an incredibly frustrating game. But there were some good parts. There were some good parts, including the number 9 hitter, Ezequiel Duran, the best day he's had all year, and most of this pen, I will say, most of this pen doing their job. But one guy who absolutely did not. We'll talk about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football prediction into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up. College football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week 1 kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. They got all kinds of different lines on things, whether you're wanting to look at college football stuff. I mean, Texas Tech is hopefully poised to have a great year. They look like they brought in a big recruiting class as a Texas Tech fan myself. Or if you want to bet on some Cowboys stuff, which maybe, I don't know if they have any over-unders on Micah Parsons games played, but I'm sure you can check out all of that. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 play. PrizePicks. Run your game. Shout out to the Everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be talking about what's going on in the minor leagues, including a Rangers prospect who just got promoted to AAA and is having a really fantastic first week and honestly last month that I have not looked into as much as I should. All that and more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Rangers. But let's talk about some of the good things that happened in that game yesterday. The Rangers had some base runners. Stop me if you've heard this before. The Rangers had some base runners. They did end up squandering them. But Zeke Duran, I've got to get him a lot of credit. 3 for 3 in this one, including a line drive double. He scored both of the Rangers' runs. 4 total bases for him in this one. And I mean, you look at his last 7 games, the dude has been on fire. 4 ribbies in his last 7 games, only 1 strikeout, a stolen base, hitting .636 with a .727 slugging percentage in that time span. Now, a lot of that comes from this game, but when he's been starting against lefties as of late, I mean, it's not just the hits in this game, it's the quality of the at-bats. Now, not all of these were just line drive, just laser beam singles and hits like we're used to seeing from Zeke Duran. One of them was just a little bit of a dribbler that he used his speed to beat out, and Carlos Rodon nearly made an incredible play, but getting production like this out of the bottom of the lineup when the top of your lineup did some things in today's game, but was not really able to, get that kind of an impact on the baseball of driving the ball over the fence or really into the gaps. Not a whole lot of extra base hits for the Rangers in this one at all. Literally just that double by Zeke Duran. But I got to give a shout out to Zeke Duran for having such a great day at the plate, and for Hobie Milner stepping in a huge situation, an absolutely huge situation. And he had one of his best performances of the season, pitching 2 2/3 innings, eating up a lot of bulk. I don't know why the Yankees went so lefty heavy in this lineup, because Jack Leiter has been pretty nasty against left-handed hitters this season. They really only had 2 true righties in their lineup. One of them, Aaron Judge, one of them, Anthony Volpe at shortstop. 2 guys that I don't think they were really going to do much in terms of switching them out, especially not Aaron Judge. And he ended up striking out Aaron Judge. But Hobie Milner coming in with runners at the corners after one of the 2 runs that scored on a really terrible throw by Kyle Higashioka. Had that been a little bit differently, a little bit more online, had Jack done a better job of just holding the runners and keeping them from the double steal, then maybe this game looks a little bit differently. Maybe the Rangers use a different reliever later on in this game. But Hobie Milner coming in that spot where it could have gotten out of hand. I mean, it really could have gotten out of hand in a hurry, if not for Hobie Milner, who got a quick comebacker right to him, runs down the runner at third base, still ends up with runners at the corners. Another comebacker right to him, fields his position, runs all the way to first base for an unassisted, and 2 2/3 innings with just the 1 walk, which was immediately eliminated on a double play. Only 1 strikeout for him. His ERA on the season is now down to 2.24. He has done such a good job. And Cole Winn, who did a really good job in this one, his ERA after 2 scoreless innings, 2 hitless innings, 2 strikeoutless innings with a couple of walks, down to 1.13 on the year. And Sean Armstrong coming in with a little bit of trouble brewing because of what happened with Robert Garcia, which we'll talk about in just a second. But him getting the 1 out, getting out of that inning with just the 1 run on the board, and it looked like there might be a few more runs on the board, him lowering his season ERA down to 2.90. I mean, the Rangers have so many good bullpen pieces in this one, but the one guy who is not considered a good bullpen piece, at least right now. Overall, it's been a decent season for Robert Garcia, but right now, my God, this guy cannot get out of his own way. Coming in to the top of the 7th inning in a tie game, Bruce Bochy talked about him coming into a lower leverage spot, a softer landing, if you will. But this is not that soft a landing. It's softer than a save situation, for sure. It's not the 8th inning. It's not the 9th inning. It's not extra innings. There's no runners on base. It was a clean inning facing the bottom 2 hitters in this lineup. Now, yes, bottom two hitters in this lineup. And immediately he faces off against Rosario, who has done a good job against hitting left-handed pitching. It was facing off against two lefties. Actually, it would have been three straight lefties had he been able to retire all three of the batters that he faced. But it felt pretty obvious that the Yankees were going to throw someone out there to pinch hit for the lefties. McMahon, left on left, probably not a guy who the Yankees wanted to see have someone find out if he could just figure out how to hit lefties in that moment. Austin Wells, who is not a great offensive catcher this year, has been in the past, but definitely hasn't hit lefties particularly well. That felt like a pretty obvious platoon situation where they would just plug someone in there and move Ben Rice over from first base to catcher. It felt pretty obvious that they would put Paul Goldschmidt in there, who absolutely annihilated left-handed pitching, the left-handed pitching of Patrick Corbin in the first game of this series. Just did not feel like a super smart matchup, but it was not a whole lot of leverage, a whole lot of pressure on Robert Garcia. And then he faces off, he gets Ahmed Rosario to ground out. Overall, like, it looked pretty good in that at bat. And to start off that at bat against Paul Goldschmidt, he also looked pretty good. I mean, he gets a called strike on the first pitch, a slider that backs up and maybe catches the corner. Honestly, didn't really particularly look like it. Then low and away goes with a changeup on 0-1, and then he gets down to 0-2. Then he just dots up another changeup right on the bottom away corner of the strike zone, which gets fouled off. And then for some reason, when he's got him off balance, he decides to go with a fastball up and in the strike zone, an 0-2 pitch in the strike zone. And not just that, a fastball in the strike zone to a very hot hitter. And what does he do? But of course, absolutely launches that freaking thing for a go-ahead home run that ended up being the difference in this game. This is just unacceptable. The Rangers have some of the most 0-2 homers, 0-2 count homers in Major League Baseball. It is just a dumb bit of pitching. That's where they were set up. That's where they wanted it to be. That's where they attacked intentionally. And it is just not what you want. 7 home runs on 0-2 counts, which is tied for the 4th most in the majors. When you're up 0-2 and you give up a home run, that is absolutely horrendous. You have got this guy on their back foot. They are almost out. You're almost out of the situation. Just put the freaking guy away. Throw something that worked to get you to that 0-2 count and finish it off. Do not give up a meatball. Do not intentionally throw pitches in the strike zone on 0-2 unless it's the absolutely most perfect pitch you can throw in a situation when you know that hitter cannot beat you on that pitch. But Paul Goldschmidt has been able to catch up to fastballs on the inside corner all series long. Heck, all season long, especially against lefties. I mean, against right-handed hitters, Paul Goldschmidt has been pretty bad this year. Honestly, pretty darn bad. But against righties, he's been bad. Against lefties, he's been murderous. He's hitting .410 with a 1216 OPS against lefties this year. A sub 600 OPS against right-handed pitchers this year. This was just not a situation where the Rangers needed to go after him. Not a situation where I think Robert Garcia is being put into this situation in a medium-high leverage situation. It's not a low leverage situation, which I think is pretty much the only spot where you should have been putting Robert Garcia out there right now, just to get his confidence back. Because overall, he has been a good pitcher. But right now, this is 2 losses that are pretty squarely on him. The walk-off homer he gave up lefty on lefty, just trying to overpower J.P. Crawford, which you're not throwing 102 miles an hour. You don't have overpowering stuff. That's what Bruce Bochy talked about, why he was struggling, why he gave up those homers, because he was just trying to blow pitches by guys. And when you throw 95, 94 to 96, you can't really do that. That was really hard throwing where you could get away with that in, 1932 or something. But right now, everybody throws 94, 96. He's got good properties on that fastball. He's got, good deception on his delivery, and it pairs well with his changeup. But you can't just blow that stuff by guys in their nitro zone and expect to get away with it. You just can't. You absolutely cannot do that. And then letting him continue to stay out there, it was just such an incredibly rough watch after, three really great pitches after getting the first hitter out, three quality pitches up 0-2 on Paul Goldschmidt, and then boom, game pretty much over because the Rangers could not capitalize. And this offense, it's starting to fall back a little bit down to earth. And then maybe their struggles against lefties will continue because they've got a tough series heading up this weekend. We're going to talk about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Gametime. You ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without that stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. The prices on their app drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worrying out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Shout out to the Aviators making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. After every single game, Jeff Biggs is with you with the Locked On Rangers postcast, coming to you live, reacting after all 162 in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, this was just an incredibly frustrating day for this offense as well. Only 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position and 11 runners left on base. The Rangers had so many base runners in this one. It is actually kind of insane. I mean, so many walks in this one for both sides. I mean, Jack Leiter walking the world in this one, and then Cole Winn walking a couple and getting a walk from Hobie Milner, and Robert Garcia at least didn't walk anybody, but everybody else in this game walked at least somebody for this Ranger squad. The Rangers got 8 hits and 7 walks in this one. And so many of these base runners were just so many of these, innings that look like they could have been rallies just ended up being caught short because of 3 different double plays grounded into. One by Josh Young, one by Kyle Higashioka, one by Marcus Semien. Josh Young, who had a 10-game hit streak heading into this game ever since being called back up to the big leagues. He goes 0 for 3 with a double play grounded into. Was just a little bit of bad luck. Honestly, a well-struck ball. But again, when it's on the ground, it can be a double play pretty easily. Also struck out. Kyle Higashioka, he goes 1 for 4 in this one with a strikeout and a double play grounded into. And then Marcus Semien, when an inning was looking like it was starting to be maybe a little bit of a rally, he grounds into a double play, but he drove in one of the 2 Rangers runs in this game. Just one of the only runs the Rangers were able to score, just a sac fly, which is something this Rangers offense could not really do on Tuesday's game, or has struggled at times to just manufacture runs. And it was a good bit of hitting by this Rangers offense by Marcus Semien, who has been in a little bit of a slump as of late. I mean, it's just been a little rough to watch him and Seager. I know Seager went 2 for 3 with a pair of walks in this one, but both of those hits were not Corey Seager hits at all. Just a hand grenade into the outfield to load the bases right ahead of Marcus Semien's sac fly. And then just a chopper infield hit by Corey Seager, where maybe he could have gone to second base and tried to, stretch it out there against the arm of his former teammate, Cody Bellinger, but he decided, not really worth it on this one to take that risk early on in this game. But Sam Haggerty also having a great game in this one. He reached base 3 times, drove in the first run of the game with a hit right to where the second baseman used to be, Ezequiel Duran, running on the play. A good bit of hitting from Sam Haggerty, who has provided a lot of value to this Ranger squad. I mean, not just offensively, but defensively, and overall, even though he has a 721 OPS, the slugging isn't particularly there. What he has done against left-handed pitching, what he has done just in terms of the quality of his at-bats as a leadoff hitter in games against left-handed starting pitching, it has been so darn helpful to this Ranger squad. I mean, he has been absolutely annihilating left-handed pitching. In 70 at-bats this year, he's hitting 357 with a 416 on base and slugging 486. Actually, both of his home runs this year have come off of right-handed pitching, which is just a little bit wild to see because he has a 556 OPS against right-handed pitching versus his 902 OPS against lefty. This is a guy who plays multiple different positions. He plays center field, he plays left, he plays second base as well. There's not usually a whole lot of guys who can give you that kind of versatility. Zeke Duran is another one of those guys who gives you that versatility. I know Zeke Duran's offense has been atrocious this year, but the defensive and positional flexibility, as well as the excellent base running and just being a good defender at multiple different positions, that a lot of times can warrant a roster spot of when you have two guys on your roster right now in Rowdy Tellez and Jock Peterson, who just kind of exist to mash right-handed pitching and play questionable defense at first base. You kind of need more of those guys on your roster. You need guys like Josh Smith, guys like Sam Haggerty, guys like Zeke Duran, who can step in and be a pinch runner and then switch over to a position and just make the defense work, because this has been a great defensive team. And part of that is having so many guys that are not only just incredibly versatile, but incredibly good defenders at a bunch of different positions. And Josh Smith is the epitome of that. I mean, Josh Smith with some incredible defense in this series, including that Tuesday game, just a beautiful, smooth, sliding grab against the team that traded him to the Texas Rangers in that Joey Gallo trade. I mean, some real revenge for Josh Smith and Zeke Duran in this one against the team that drafted or signed both of them. I mean, some of these just beautiful on the knees, just sliding grabs by Josh Smith. Give this guy the Gold Glove at the utility position already. I mean, the guy plays every position outside of pitcher and catcher. Josh Smith has played this year, and he has played it well. He has played well in center field. He has played well in right field. He's played well in left field. He's played an excellent shortstop. He's played pretty good at second base. He's played really good at third base as well. And he's done well at first base too. I mean, it is incredibly difficult to have guys who can play that many different positions. And Zeke Duran is right up there with him. He's played shortstop. He's played second. He's played third well. He's played a lot of first. He's played in the corner outfields. I don't think we've seen Zeke Duran in center field just yet. If we needed to, I'm sure we could. Zeke Duran also has probably the strongest throwing arm of anybody on this team. And so that also really kind of helps that versatility and that value. And that's part of why this team has done so well. And whenever Jake Burger does come back, the Rangers will have a decision to make in terms of their roster of the guys that are on it right now. I mean, Jock Peterson is starting to look a whole lot better. I mean, they just kind of pitched around him in this one. He works a walk. He reached in 6 straight consecutive plate appearances. 6 straight for Jock Peterson, a guy who headed into this series with a, 450 OPS. It's now better. It's been better in the month of August. He's just looking like a more productive hitter. He's looking like he's got that timing back. He really didn't look like it the first couple of games, but now, especially with that home run, I really think that is going to fix Jock Peterson. And for the long haul, that the Rangers might not need Rowdy Tellez, but Rowdy Tellez has provided some big moments for the Rangers in his brief tenure in Texas. I mean, he's only played in 13 games. He has 7 RBIs, and 5 of them have been basically game winning. He had that 3-run homer in one of his first games here against Seattle, just an incredibly big 3-run homer where the Rangers, that was the entirety of the scoring. Actually, I don't think that was against Seattle. I think that was actually that was against Detroit in the second half, that the Rangers offense couldn't do much of anything outside of that 3-run homer. And that ended up being the difference in the game. And then that 10-pitch RBI bloop single hand grenade to center field in the Tuesday game gave the only 2 runs the Rangers would score or need in that win, a clutch win against the Yankees. He has been pretty valuable, and he's hitting 300 in 33 plate appearances with the Rangers. He's got a 333 on base. He's slugging 500, just 1 home run and 3 doubles in those 13 games, but he has been such a valuable piece. I don't know exactly what the Rangers will do with that roster configuration. Whenever Jake Burger comes back, they'll have some difficult decisions to make, especially with Evan Carter still on the IL. As long as he's on the IL, I would think that you have some combination of Josh Smith out there in left field against right-handed pitching. You have him out there in left field. You have, or maybe the Rangers go with something different. Maybe they sit Josh Young against right-handed pitching. Maybe they go, I don't know what they do. I honestly don't really know what they do because Josh Smith has got to play somewhere against righties and honestly against lefties as well. He has just been that good against lefties. Maybe they go with Ezequiel Duran out there in left field, or nope, you probably got to keep Sam Haggerty there. And then you go, I don't know what you do. I honestly don't know what you do. The Rangers are coming up whenever they do get Jake Burger off the IL, which is TBD at this point. It was supposed to be this weekend, but after the first couple of rehab games, they were still trying to work him up to being able to sprint full speed. And until he's doing that, then he will not be fully recovered from that quad injury. So the Rangers will have some decisions to make about how they construct their roster. But when you have guys that are as versatile as Zeke Duran, as Sam Haggerty, as Josh Smith that have produced, well, 2 out of 3 of them have produced as well in the specific situations that you need them to do so, you got some choices and you got some flexibility with your roster the Rangers have desperately needed, but they just need to start stacking up some wins because they've got some ground to make up. A game and a half back of the Yankees, which basically means 2.5 games back of the Yankees because they lost that season series. The Red Sox are surging. Everybody else in this division and in this postseason chase is surging, and the Rangers just desperately need every single win they can get. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.